There we go. Welcome to Thursday's live session of Stack Your Points. I'm Matt Clausen from the Matt Clausen YouTube channel, and it's not Monday, clearly, because I'm not wearing my hoodie. We are joined by RJ from Do You Take Cards? RJ, how are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Matt?
It feels weird dressing like an adult again.
It does feel a little weird dressing like an adult again. I had to mute our chat so I could be able to talk to you and not hear myself in several ways. So that is always fun. But we are live. Yeah.
So we're just gonna hang out for about an hour, see what happens. We've got Vincent joining in the chat. Thank you so much, Vincent. Yeah, we don't really have a structure to things. We don't have like topics for tonight, and we don't have viewer questions to go over. Although, if you feel like asking questions, chat's over there or over here, wherever the chat is. Feel free to jump in the chat. Yeah. Oh, friend of the show, Keith. Keith, how are you? Yeah, we just wanted to try something a little bit different. Use the channel for live. Green Knight Travels. Nice to meet you. Thank you for joining. So, RJ, has there been anything new since we last recorded?
Not a ton. I got my eyes dilated today, which is the worst feeling on earth because you just like your far vision is fine, but your near vision is terrible. I almost picked up oat milk at the store because I couldn't read the carton and they looked enough like the regular milk that my eyes were like, huh, what's going on here? And then thankfully I realized it was oat milk because that would have made my morning coffee not quite what I was expecting.
Surprised you didn't go to Stewart's for your milk.
I went to Price Chopper, which is I think that's a Northeast thing. I think that's where most Price Choppers are.
Yes.
Hey, we have a question in the chat, Matt.
Yeah, Vincent, is there a particular airline and or transferable currency you're willing to stock up on even when you don't have an immediate use for it? Airline, no. I'm now sitting on about 140,000 JetBlue points, so I'm okay there. Transferable currencies, I'll always stack up on transferable currencies. Chase and Wells Fargo, I will build up as many of those as I can. Wells is my primary gas card and like gas and convenience store attached to gas station convenience card, and then it's kind of Chase for everything else. So RJ, for you?
Amex points. Anytime I can get an Amex point, I'm gonna take it. Unless like the Hilton ones that are 6 or 12x, I'm obviously gonna go there because a lot of MR points turn into Hilton points anyway. So if I can get more Hilton points than I could MR points, I'm going to. But yeah, Amex points are kind of my bread and butter because it's Delta and Hilton, and most of my travel involves, I think every trip I have taken outside of my zip code, right? So not just like a weekend random stay close to home just to get away, but like an actual trip has involved a Hilton or a Delta component of it for like the last like 5 years. So it's always good to have a stock of points that can go to those two companies.
Yes. I will stack up, if I'm stacking up hotel points, I will stack up Hilton points, but I also have an okay size stack of those at the moment, and my MR points can always become Hilton points. Right. So Keith asks, what are you drinking, Matt? I'm drinking Angel's Envy. And no, I did not drink all of this today. But it's Angel's Envy from the cellars of Lincoln Hendrickson. Yep, just regular Angel's Envy, no special bottle of it. I also have some Tullamore Dew honey. So if you mix those two together, it actually works out pretty well. I did the honey as a base on ice, and then floated the Angel's Envy on top. So Angel's Envy for right now, but I also have Tullamore Dew honey on tap. Not on tap.
Tariq is in our chat. Hello, Tariq. We miss you.
It's on chat. Yep. Double. Hey, how are you? Tariq is on emergency last minute assignment. Yeah, we were hoping to get Tariq. If he can join, great. If you can't, no worries. Same thing with our other co-host Lonnie. He's on dad duty, on life duty. But if we can get him on, we can get him on. If not, we'll see what happens. Double. Yikes. Hope everything's okay, Tariq. Yep. Same. And then it's us. All right. So we're gonna hide that. Yeah. So we've had I've been following a bunch of Chase news. Now there's been other news that's been floating by. Avianca has a 25% transfer bonus with Citi. So if you have a stockpile of Citi points and Avianca is your way of booking United or booking international, that could be helpful. But I'm not deeply into the Avianca system, so I can't tell you. Double says, "Yep, Chase has been busy." Yeah. So on the Chase front, just today we had the Chase Freedom Unlimited has a $250 or 25,000 point welcome offer on 500 spend in 3 months. They've confirmed the 100,000 point welcome offer on the Chase Sapphire Preferred, which is coming out next week. Sorry. We've got the United Club card. No, the United Explorer card has a new 80,000 point welcome offer. No annual fee for the first year, but $150 annual fee thereafter. And it hasn't become official, but I'm 99% convinced that the changes that we saw leaked for the business card are coming to the Explorer card.
I could see that, yeah.
That is a $100 annual or yearly rideshare credit, an annual hotel credit in the United Hotel system, $125 in travel bank cash, $25 in Fairlock, which I didn't look up completely. So my apologies on that. We can dig into that in a little bit. $50 for cars.united.com when booking Avis or budget. A $120 Instacart credit, which is interesting because the Instacart credits on the Sapphire Reserve, Sapphire Preferred, and Freedom cards all expired in July. So that's coming back. So I could see all of that going to the United Explorer card.
Mm-hmm.
I also thought something like the Instacart credit could go to the Sapphire Preferred, but all we know right now is that the Sapphire Preferred's 100,000 point offer is on 5,000 in spend, and I've seen conflicting numbers. I've seen 5 months and I've seen 3 months for that. So 5,000 in spend. We'll say 3 months because that's the typical welcome offer.
Yeah, 5 months is not a number you see for welcome bonuses. If it was 5 and 6 or 5 and 3, I wouldn't know which one, but 5 months is almost never a number used for welcome bonuses.
Yeah. So I would say 3 months is more likely. Still showing a $95 annual fee. So my hopes of a refresh or increase.
You hate that card so much because you want things to make sense. And Chase is like, but why? Why for? How come you want us to make sense?
Chase does not believe in order, and Chase does not believe in anything useful, it seems. So yeah. We've got Chad from Chad's Money Minutes. Chad was literally just live or is live right now. And thank you, Chad, for jumping on with us. Keith, how dirty was the Chase sub link for the CSP? So there is a link floating around that apparently originated from US card forums. Danny the Deal Guru got it from another source, but I guess they sourced it from US card forums. I don't know how dirty it is, how likely things are to happen. So I don't know. I posted it in our Discord. I didn't realize that it was from US card forums, so we'll see what happens. But just, spend wisely. Don't raise any flags with Chase if you use that offer and if you use that link and you got accepted for the card. Again, hey, Chad. Double asks, what are your thoughts on points during points earning dilution and other concerns when you're in too many ecosystems at once? RJ, you want to take a crack at that one, or do you just worry about one system at a time?
So I'm in several systems, right? But I think the ultimate goal, is to sort of as Lonnie and I say on the show a lot, pick your partners, right? But also, how are you using? Like, if you're somebody who uses the portal a lot, like you have the Chase Sapphire Reserve, you use the portal for everything because you get that, 1.25 or sorry, 1.5 on the reserve. Um, then it doesn't matter, right? Like you can just pump everything into Chase, and then whatever ecosystems you're in for everything else is fine. If you have a hotel partner that you like and two or three of your credit cards go to that, then you can still funnel it. So it's sort of, I think, having your partners and then having a strategy for how do you get things to different places. Like my Capital One points, if I don't use them for Travel Eraser, which I usually do, but if I do have points left over, those go to Choice. For my Choice card, obviously those just go to Choice. My Amex, I have Delta and Hilton. So I have an off ramp for everything. My Chase points are going to be going to IHG when I have any Chase points. So as long as you have those off ramps, I think it's okay. Now, if you're in 7 different ecosystems and none of them work together, then yeah, having your points sort of coalesce, I think is helpful. But I think in the beginning, it's okay to be in a bunch of ecosystems, figure out which apps you like, figure out which partners you like, figure out what banks you like banking with, and then sort of weed it down over time.
Yeah. As you figure out who you want to be staying with, like if Choice is a property that works, is a system that works really great for you, like Citi and Wells Fargo can go very well together. They can complement each other pretty well, without needing 57,000 Citi custom caches. You can make both ecosystems work and work well for you for Choice. If you are big into Marriott and you like setting those points on fire or using those points to transfer out to airlines, which is, I think, a more useful way to use your Marriott points. Now you can cherry pick good examples for stays, and you can get higher than expected value with cherry picking, with fifth night free, with working those things out. But if you want to be lazy is not the right word, but if you just want like quick and easy and convenient, the airline play can work. So if Marriott's your jam, Chase and American Express, boom, you're good to go there.
And I also think like it depends on how quickly can you make points. Like some of it doesn't matter. If you have work travel and you just have more Chase, Amex, Wells Fargo, whatever points than you can do with, then dilution matters less, right? Because you've got a bunch you can play with.
Yeah. Yeah. So points earning dilution, it can be a thing. Like if you are stretched thin between, like, you've got accounts with US Bank and Chase and Capital One and Wells Fargo and Citi and American Express, but you don't have a way to make them all work together, then that's where things can become a bit of a problem. So
absolutely,
I've got Chase, Wells Fargo, I've got some American Express, but American Express is kind of like side quest just for Hilton in my mind right now. And then Chase can go to JetBlue. Wells Fargo is still sort of cash back, and I'm waiting to see what else I can do with Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo is just like a reserve of points at this point for me.
Until the Beyond comes out, and then you're going to be insufferable. Assuming we're going to assume it's a good card. We're going to put that it's a good card out into the ether for you, Matt.
I appreciate that, because I'm worried that it's going to be a JetBlue premiere. Honestly, since last year, like every card launch since last year, I have not seen a good card launch. Like Autograph Journey was fine.
I think the journey is going to make more sense when the Beyond comes out, right? Because then you have your small, medium, large of cards, and the journey is a good middle option. Like if you want a little bit more than the Autograph, you aren't quite ready to jump up to the Beyond. Like it'll be a good middle, but as the top end, it's a little bit lacking. Partly because of transfer partners, right? Like that's going to be the knock on Wells Fargo until they get more transfer partners.
Yeah, they're like the ultimate road trip option right now, just because 5 times hotels. But Vincent says the Freedom Unlimited 250 offer would be great for someone starting out their credit card journey. Yes. I don't
Yeah.
love the fact that the CFU is just 1.5. And I know that the math works out where it's 1.835 with the Sapphire Preferred and earning through the portal and redeeming through the portal, and 2.25 when paired with the Sapphire Reserve and earning through the portal and redeeming through the portal. But not everyone's going to do that. So
let me ask you a question, Matt.
Yep.
Because, and I'm going to ask this question as somebody who has a lot of friends who don't care about credit cards, right? And a lot of people in their late teens, early 20s in their life in different capacities. Like, we care about redemption rates, right? Like, we all care about redemption rates. But on your first credit card, or sort of as you're starting your journey, learning how to pay your bill on time, learning not to let things roll over, like, it feels like sometimes when we talk to younger people or people who are just starting out, we give them way too much, right? Like, it's the McDonald's menu now versus the McDonald's menu in like 1964, right? Where it was just a hamburger, a cheeseburger, a fish sandwich, and like an apple pie, right? Like, sometimes I think we make it more complicated because we're like, well, you have to have 2%. So you have to have two cards, right? You have to have your 2% catch all, and then you have to have this other card for X, Y, and Z. We're like, I honestly think, like, if you want one card, having one at, you know, a rate of 1.5 for everything else, and then a couple of categories above that, like, there's no 2% card with extra categories, right? Like, some portal categories and stuff, but not like real categories.
Yeah.
Not that anybody is going to be able to go to in droves, right? So I actually think that we all in the community need to like ease off on the, oh, it's only 1.5, and especially if we're talking to people who are newer or just want one or two cards. I think we get too wrapped up on the axle on the 2%.
Yeah. I definitely see that argument. I just think that, and I'm not going to try to push heavily against it. It's just, you look at Chase's immediate competition where, like, with the folks who don't need more than one card, right? You've got the active cash at 2, you've got the double cash at 2.
But they're 2 and nothing else.
Yeah. So 1, 5, 3 dining, 5 in the portal if you ever wanted to use the portal just starting out. Yeah, I can sort of see that argument. I just,
like, especially if you're a college student, dining is going to be important. Drugstores potentially could be very important. Be safe out there, kids. But, and having 1.5, like, it's better than 1, right? Like, if you get the autograph covers a ton of things at 3x, but everything else out of those categories is 1. Like, the autograph would be the card I would tell a lot of people to get, but you're, quote, losing value because it's only 1x everything else, right? So I think we in the community, like, yes, having a 2x or a 2% base is really good, but that could be your third or fourth card. That does not have to be your first or second card as you're learning how to handle, like, I have a lot of adult friends in like my professional life that have like 2 credit cards, and neither of them is a 2% card, because like they're people who work, you know, with math every day. They understand that they're losing half, quote, losing half a percentage on each transaction, but the mental cost of having a third or fourth or fifth credit card is just not worth it. So I think when you have a dozen credit cards, this all, like, adding one more, what's that? When you have 2, adding another feels a lot more. Like Jason said in the chat, speaking as a father of a late teen, early 20s human, their brains don't want to think more about this too much. Keep it simple and show them the value.
Yeah. No, that's totally fair. I wouldn't disagree with Vincent when he says that it's a great offer for someone just starting out. It is. I do think of things like where I'm at in the game more than I think about things at the beginning, just because it's been a while, and I'm slow to the travel side of things, and I just want to like get as much value as I can. So I'm looking at a Freedom Unlimited where, like, I'm coming out of Freedom Unlimited as someone in their mid 30s, where it's like this is the best you can offer me, Chase.
You
But
also have a vendetta against Chase.
it's not even. Maybe it is.
Jamie Dimon is going to wake up with a horse head from you in his bed one day.
Now that you've said it, I can't do it.
He's
Keith
trying
says
to keep
that.
you out of jail, Matt.
Yes, it's fair. Keith said, I think I might want that IHG business card sub. Yeah, that's another sub that came out like that leaked today. The IHG business card is going to have a 200,000 point welcome offer. 140,000 points on your first $4,000 in spend. Spend 5,000 more, get another 60,000 points, which is kind of insane.
Keith, please run this by your accountant first, so you have 2 working kneecaps come morning, please.
Oh yeah, no, I forgot about that part. Yeah. Double, going back to their question, or how do you determine how many ecosystems to be in for your use case? Going back to that, it'll depend. Like it'll come to picking your partners. Like if your airline is JetBlue, it really doesn't make sense to have more than Chase or Citi as a primary, and then like having a way to build up some cash back to like use that cash back to buy JetBlue points when they're 120% bonus, or something else. Hilton, it makes sense to have American Express and a Hilton card. Choice, it makes sense to do Citi and Wells. So it kind of depends on like where you're going to go with your partner choices.
Does it ever make sense to go with Citi? Ever? If you have a modern smartphone and you want to use your cards in the year 2025.
Oh, if you want to use your card through your phone, absolutely not. No, Citi doesn't know what technology is. Citi is the Luddite of banks. It is the Luddite bank, and they only work on Sundays, which does not track with being a Luddite. So, like, I don't.
Not sure what's going on there.
Yeah, they only work one day a week. It's amazing. M2K, hey all, hey M2K, thanks for joining us. Jason, who asks who needs a spreadsheet, he has a brand new spreadsheet that was shared in the Discord. I believe that was in our CPP Hell channel that he shared that.
I have that one muted, so I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Live fact check. Let me double check. CPP Hell. Yes, it is. It is in the CPP Hell channel in our Discord. So if you need a spreadsheet, Jason's got you taken care of. We ask how much math is in it. He says no math. It's just lists. M2K, how many sign-up bonuses have you had at once? At one time. Two is my max. I will work 2 welcome offers at the same time because anything past 2, my head will explode. I don't I commend the people who can float 4 or 5 welcome offers at a time. I really hope 2 or 3 of those welcome offers are literally like 250 for 500 or like 200 for 1,000.
I cannot go more than 2, and I don't even like to go 2. Here's the thing that we don't talk about sign up bonuses a lot, right? Is if you have rent that you're going to put on and eat the fee, or you have things like that, then it can make sense to have the ink train, right? But like you still have to spend that money. It's not quote free money in the way that like we all talk about sign up bonuses is, you get the 200,000 on the IHG business. And Keith, I am sure you were good for it, sir. I am not questioning that for a second. But like for me, if I'm going to do a sign up bonus, I have to do guys, I do math when I think about sign up bonuses because I have to make sure my spend's going to meet it, because I spend probably less money than it sounds like I spend. And that means that like if I have, $6,000 in 3 months or 5,000 in 3 months or whatever, even 3 in 3, I have to make sure I can pull enough money away from those things, right? Because my car payment and my rent are my 2 biggest expenses every month, and I don't pay those in a traditional way. Like I pay those out of bank accounts because of how I pay them. So I can't funnel those through a credit card, which means that it has to be my like streaming or my Apple or other things like that, which yeah, it's a decent chunk of change. I spend more than I should some months, but it still is me having to purposely think that all through. And you have to remember, like if I just had my 1Password come out, Password managers are great, guys. I highly recommend it. Not sponsored. But
Just a fan.
I changed the card on that for that to my business gold. I'm probably getting rid of my business gold in June. I have to remember before next year to go in and change that, right? Like those are the things that you have to do. And yeah, it might be 15 minutes, but if you're constantly doing it, something is likely to fall through the cracks. And it's always the biggest thing, and the thing that you want to fall through the cracks the least is the one that tends to fall through the cracks. So just, juggling multiple sign-up bonuses like that can be tricky. Now, if you have a big trip coming up, you're going on a cruise, you're going on a flight, you're doing something like that, and you can take care of it in 1 or 2 transactions, that's a little bit easier, right? Like that is a little bit easier of a time.
Yeah, or like Jordan's World of Credit, he is financing his wedding, and they're doing a
Right.
relatively large wedding. Weddings to rackets, so like I don't even want to talk about those, but weddings are a good way to hit multiple welcome offers. So you could do the 3, 4, 5 credit cards because you've got to do those things for the wedding to make it the most magical day of your life. Don't
get me started on weddings.
Yes. So I cap myself at 2. My partner just finished 2 pretty quickly. They're not going to be working on anything else anytime soon. I'm currently not working on any welcome offers. I'm just sitting idly by waiting for Beyond to launch before I make any more moves, and working on some other things at the moment. So
I am technically working 2 offers right now, but one is the employee card on my Blue Business Plus, and the other one is the upgrade offer on my Delta Reserve. So it's like I think I have to spend $700 in the next 6 months total. So I think I'm good for that one.
You should be fine on that one. I'm also doing an employee card. I'm almost done with the employee card, but like making sure that I'm on top of that has been a pain in the ass.
Yes.
Keith, wait, the US Bank Smartly card wasn't a good card launch? Sarcasm. I mean, how many times do you get to launch a card and 5 months later realize how much money you've lost on it and start the panic, set the fire that starts the panic of everyone worrying that you're about to close the card?
Yeah. If it sees 12 full months of public applications, I'm going to be a little shocked.
Yeah. The fact that it's so close to 6 is like, okay, I can give you 6, but I don't think they can get to 12. Filmo's World. Hey, Filmo. If the Wells Fargo card is bad, I hope Matt gives me space time to leave New York State before the meltdown. I don't know that it's going to be that bad, Filmo. I'll give you time to grab
for that
Speedy
podcast.
as you leave New York State. How about that? Just grab a Speedy on your way out. You'll be fine. Jason, speaking. Oh no, we already covered that one. Spathco. Hey, Spathco. Our resident. Spathco is all things math. Spathco says it varies with spend too. The difference in earning between 1.5 and 2 doesn't matter as much at 20K of spend compared to 200K of spend. Yes, on an infinite time scale, on an infinite spend scale, the more you're able to earn back, the better. I wish I could put 200,000 a year through a credit card. That would be fun. I think Wells Fargo would have lots of questions for me if I did. But
so when you go in and update the income section, like no, guys, I promise I'm good for it. We're good.
We're good. At that point, I would just be asking Wells Fargo, what invitation cards do you have that no one knows about?
They don't, Matt. They don't. And 200,000 is not getting you on the Centurion list.
No, it's not. Not at all. Double agree. Matt has an anti-Chase vendetta, but it's fun to watch and also see RJ call him out on. I have a Chase Sapphire Reserve. I have 4 credit cards with Chase. I have 2 business cards. I have 2 personal cards. I wouldn't say I have a vendetta. It's just
you do though. Chase. Here's the thing. Chase does not work for your brain. The way that cashback does not work for my brain, Chase does not work for your brain in how they choose to conduct business. It's like the Apple ladder, right? Like you start at the basic iPad and somehow you get up to the Pro and you don't know how it's there because you slowly climb up the ladder of their cards. Like you're at the top of you have the iPad Pro of Chase credit cards. You have the Reserve. The only thing you can get is if you park $10 million in one of their accounts, which Matt, I'm going to go out on a limb and say you do not have $10 million sitting around to send to Chase. I think I can safely say that. So like you have the top line credit card. So no, you don't have any complaints because it works for you. And then you've got a
Yes.
couple supplementary cards. So like, no, of course you don't have a vendetta. But if you didn't have the $550 reserve and you were slumming it down with Tariq and I with the preferred, like it would be a different feeling.
Yes, probably. I just want little tweaks to make things just a lot better in my head. That's all I want.
In your head, though, that's the key. Is it's all in your head, sir.
Fine. Be the resident Dolores O'Riordan. Anyway, AP joins us for a little bit. He says, "Hey guys, stuck at work, but figured I'd need to pop in for a few minutes for the first live. Thank you. We're looking to do these a bit more frequent.
Hoping to do them weekly. Yeah, we're hoping to do them weekly. We'll see if that happens.
Yep. So glad you could join us for the first one. Oh, hey AP. AP City is good for cashback flexibility. Yes, they are. And I prefer, as soon as I prefer gets their stuff together with their booking capabilities with points, like City will be a lot more attractive to people. It's just right now, like, yes, the Strata Premier is a good card. Yes, Strata Elite could be a good card. Like, I don't have bad things to say about most of their cards. I do have things to say about the people who employ some of their cards in the fashion in which they employ them, because it's one of those things like Chase hurts my brain. People who do 87 custom caches hurt my brain.
You just need a good label maker and gumption, Matt.
Betakuri Zielo, I apologize if I mispronounced your name. Which hotel chain would you recommend for a primary, and which hotel chain would you recommend as well as a secondary? So, as much as I like Chase, as much as Hyatt props up Chase, I would say primary. You really can't go wrong with Hilton. Hilton has a good mix of total available property footprint. Your redemptions or your ability to use points, like you still have good ability to use points at a bunch of places. I wouldn't necessarily do 35,000 points for one night at a Hampton Inn randomly when you could just spend $120 and gain back like what 34 times points if you have the Aspire card. 34 times 100 is quite a bit more. 3,400. 3,400.
34 times 100 is 3,400. Yes.
Math. It's getting weird.
I can math, guys.
RJ math's a little bit better than me right now. Yeah, you'd get 3,400 points that you could like apply to your next big redemption. The redemption, the worthwhile, like the big name properties are there. You've got the Waldorf Astoria, you've got the Conrad, you've got LXR brands, you've got stuff in the Curio collection, all at that top end. You've still got reasonable things in the middle. You've still got good choices at the budget level. You've got a lot of opportunity to book kind of anywhere you're going. So Hilton makes sense for a primary, and their sample point valuation is going to go up with SL, Small Luxury Hotels of the World, SLH. So you got that. You've got fifth night free for holding status. Sorry, silver status gives you fifth night free. That's awesome. So if you hold one of their no annual fee card, you can do fifth night free, extend your points that way, make things really easy for you. For me, as secondary, I feel like a secondary hotel, I'm going to say something controversial, and that would be Hyatt can work really well as a secondary. You're going to get higher end properties. You're going to put your points to better use at their higher end properties. They're category 6, they're category 7, they're category 8. it's going to feel like really nice to use your chase points that way. Their status is harder to achieve. So if you want to, like, you have to make globalist work for you. But if you're discoverist, you're going to be just fine. Due to the smaller footprint overall, I do think that like you should focus on Hyatt more as a secondary than a primary ecosystem for hotels.
Yes. I need to address something that's going on in the chat that I will not stand for. AP, Matt is not in upstate New York. I refuse to accept Matt as an upstater of New York. He does not meet that threshold, and I'm going to need you to retract that statement real quick. Thank you so much.
When I move to Dutchess County, then I'll have to. Then we'll reassess.
We can reassess once you go to Dutchess County, but as of right now, I'm sorry, Matt, you are a downstater.
I'm in the Lower Hudson Valley, and nobody acknowledges the Lower Hudson Valley as anything, so it's fine.
It's downstate.
But yes, RJ, your primary, your secondary.
So I think it depends on what you want, right? Like, are you traveling for work and are going to get a ton of stuff through things? Are you traveling just for personally? Are you going for a couple of nights? Are you going for a week at a time? Are you traveling with family and you, like, having kitchens available to you is an option? Are you going by yourself? Like, when I travel, I just need a king room, or honestly, depending on the property, a queen room, right? Because it's just me in the room. So I don't necessarily need a whole sitting area. I don't need those other things. So knowing how you travel is going to depend on, and knowing what cities you're likely to travel is going to make this question a lot easier, right? Because I agree with Matt. Hilton is a great primary choice because they're everywhere. They've got a bunch of tiers. They've got options at all tiers. Marriott, if you pay exclusively cash and don't care about their program, also can be very helpful, right? Those are options. IHG, I am getting into the IHG system. I've got a big trip coming up in October that I will be staying at an IHG property. I will be staying at a Kimpton, which our dear friend Lonnie, co-host, is a big fan of IHG. So there's also that option. IHG is everywhere too. They have quite a lot, especially in the US. Now we're focusing primarily on the US because that's where Matt and my travel usually is. Lonnie is our international globetrotting correspondent, and he is not here tonight. So Matt and I will primarily be focusing on the US. But I think once you pick a sort of a primary that's everywhere, it makes it a lot easier, right? And then you can say, okay, I want Hilton and IHG because I can mix and match. I want Hilton and Hyatt. I want, IHG and Hyatt. However you want to divvy that up. I actually agree with Matt. I think Hyatt's a great secondary choice because they have blackouts with their points in a way that, like, I have never looked at a Hilton and not been able to book something on points. Now, sometimes the point numbers are outrageous and I'm not going to do it, but there's always that option, right? If you have 1 million Hilton points and you want to stay somewhere, you will be able to find a hotel where that's not always the case with Hyatt. So I think Hyatt actually is a really good backup, especially because you can have a smaller pool of points coming through Chase and still make Hyatt work as a backup. And they're not in as many places. So you're, maybe you only want to stay at sort of the higher end for Hyatt and you stay at sort of the mid-tier or lower end for Hilton. That actually would be a really good strategy depending on who you are and how many points you have. So I think whatever you want to travel, you have to sort of do that, right? If I travel to Dayton, Ohio a lot, well, my primary hotel is going to be something that I really like in Dayton, Ohio. Like, that's going to be a consideration, right? That's going to either be a primary chain or maybe my backup, but you need to fill those gaps in, right? You need to do a little bit of that research. I think Hilton, IHG, and Hyatt have the best actual programs around their products, as far as the app, as far as how you move up levels, as far as all of that. But you have to stay. Almost all of these programs, you've got to put your butt in the hotel room. Like, that's how you end up getting things on a higher scale. So I think that's also something that, like, it's great that I have Marriott Gold, but I don't stay at many Marriotts anymore. So, that is not something I'm chasing for platinum, right? Whereas Hilton, I have a bunch of stays. IHG, I have some coming up, even other things. So you have to sort of look at the programs, look at where you're going, and sort of look at it as a more holistic. I think we would recommend probably taking a look at Hyatt first, or I'm sorry, Hilton first. But that might not work for you. Depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking only for budget, then Choice, like Choice is fantastic in that realm. So it depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah. Other budget options would be like Wyndham. Wyndham can offer good properties. I won't let La Quinta slander stand. That's just me. I do like a good La Quinta, but I'm not willing to invest into the Wyndham program. But yeah, Hilton's great for a primary. Marriott, if you're willing to pay cash and you're doing business travel, Marriott works out perfectly. It's just that, like with Marriott, everything below titanium in terms of status is just kind of like, okay, welcome to the hotel. Here's your water. Please move on. Like, you're going to get some elevated earning, but like once you get to platinum, once you get to titanium, once you're at ambassador, that's when the real stuff happens. And unless you're willing to pay for platinum, it's the harder ecosystem for me to justify. Spathco says CPP hell, where no amount of overthinking is too much. Yes, and that's why RJ created that channel.
That is why I have given you your own cordoned off area to overthink to your little heart's desire.
The controversial statement from AP. I'm from downstate New York. RJ's in upstate. RJ's really is in upstate.
I am an actual upstate New York.
Yep. Rest of the team, Tariq is on special assignment, and we were hoping to get Tariq, but didn't happen. And Lonnie is on adult assignment, so it's just us. Ron, thoughts on using the PayPal debit card for 5% on groceries for an estimated cost of $350 to $400 on a monthly basis? RJ, do you want to tackle this one first?
I know painfully little about the PayPal debit card because it just has never interested me in any real way. If you can use it effectively for 5% off and you want 5% off all of your groceries, use it in good health. There are other options, right? Like there are other ways to get 5% back on groceries. So it really is going to depend. If if you don't have a grocery card that you like, then yeah, this could be an option, but not my bread and butter here.
That's fair. With the PayPal debit card, I would say going that 5% route, if your cost is $350 to $400, makes a lot of sense if you're buying at Walmart, which is currently coding as grocery on that card, Target, which is currently coding as grocery on that card. And if you're only spending $350 to $400 at a warehouse, congratulations. But that would make a lot of sense as well, like your Costco's, your Sam's Clubs, etc. If those are where you shop for your groceries, yes, it makes a ton of sense. Get your 5% and then use that 5% however you use the cash back from that however you see fit. Buy points, invest it, put it into a HISA, whatever. Like, that is cool. If you're going to traditional grocery stores, I understand the appeal of 2% more than, say, the Capital One Saver, but the Saver has no limit. I would even say for a card that I generally don't think is worth necessarily like the low spend, but if you're under $500, and unless you absolutely don't want to get into the city ecosystem, why wouldn't you do the city custom cash at $350 to $400 if you're going to regular grocery stores? Now, again, if you're shopping at Target, if you're shopping at Walmart, if you're shopping at a warehouse, I absolutely get it. But if you're at your Hy-Vee, your Albertsons, your Wegmans, Meijer, Piggly Wiggly, is Piggly Wiggly a convenience store or a gas station? I have to ask someone from that side.
I don't know how they code, actually. Anybody in the chat know how the Piggly Wiggly codes? Because that is not my area of the world.
If you're in the southeastern United States, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, there are no Piggly Wigglies in North Carolina. If you're in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, please let me know how the Piggly Wiggly codes for you. Publix would code as grocery. Like, if you're going to a regular grocery store, $350 to $400, unless you absolutely have no reason to be in the city ecosystem other than the cash back, I don't see why you wouldn't do the custom cash. But yeah, if you're doing Walmart and Target, it makes a lot of sense.
So this sort of goes back to a question we had before about the number of ecosystems. Like if you're doing cashback, you could have one card with every issuer if you really want it, and it doesn't super matter, right? Like that's something that cashback does have an advantage over points, because cashback is cashback is cashback. Now, yes, Amex statement credits versus, you know, getting cash in as a check versus just getting it deposited in your account is all different. Like they have different mechanisms, but if you're getting 5% cash back, it's going to be the quote same 5% cash back at Amex or Chase or Citi or whatever. You just might get it slightly differently. So, you know, if you are a cashback person going into an ecosystem you might not quote typically be in, isn't as big of a deal, right? Because as much as I do rag on Citi a little bit, if you're doing straight cash back and you just take your card out at a grocery store and use it, like it's fine. Like I don't like Citi for other reasons. Listen to the podcast. I occasionally go into them, but it becomes this thing where if you're doing cash back, issuers carry much less water when you're doing a cashback setup than when you're doing points or you're doing sort of other mechanisms.
Yeah. The only time where like the issuer will sort of matter with cashback is if you're going to go like the customized cash rewards card route and try in Bank of America in general and go into preferred rewards, or for however much longer Smartly exists, going into the Smartly rewards and get 4% on all the things. Yeah, cashback. If you're just going straight cashback, like maximizing and trying to 5% all the things, yeah, you use whatever route you want. Chad asks, I don't understand why people make Semper Point so difficult. Am I missing something? I honestly don't know.
I direct you to the chat has had some answers. Faithco has had some answers. Go to CCP Hell. That is my recommendation on that one, because not my. That's like asking somebody in the art department like quantum string theory. Somebody understands it. I understand it. I just don't like it or care about it that much.
Yeah. So Stacker Points Discord, CPP Hell channel in the Discord. Points, honestly, it gets a little bit more involved in the chat a little bit further down. So I agree with Chad's next comment here in the chat. So let's keep going. Betakiri asks, thoughts on buying groups for merchandise as well as groups that buy gift cards. Not something that I do, but I understand that it can be lucrative. There's other resources for that. I just don't happen to be one of those. But if it's working for you.
So like if you're somebody, like I collect watches, right? Like I'm in places where people sell bulk watches, right? Like they will buy, they'll go to estate sales, they'll go to buying groups, they'll do whatever, and they'll have, 50 posts up for watches, right? Like that is a thing you can do with other things like buying merchandise and reselling it, things like that. If you want to do that, sure. The thing is, you can also lose your shirt, right? Like anytime you're buying merchandise, you're doing anything like that, there is a risk you won't get as much back. There is a risk that other things will go wrong. So buyer beware, especially for merchandise, because right now in the world things devalue very quickly. So that watch, to use my example, that was $10,000 last month might only sell for 8,500 this month. And next month it might sell for 9, and the month after that it might sell for 7. So the markets are really volatile right now. So buying merchandise can be curious. I am not a big fan of buying gift cards simply because of how I live my life. Like I hate gift cards. I don't like getting them as gifts. I don't like giving them as gifts. I don't like having to walk into a Staples with my business gold and buy them. I don't like them. Now, like something like Apple where I can just buy it and it automatically shows in my account and I don't actually have to deal with a gift card proper. Sure, fine, whatever. But I am not a gift card person.
I end up taking like the Mitch Hedberg approach of it, where it's just like, here, you throw this away. Not that I'm actively throwing away the gift card, but like I will get it. I sort of I will appreciate it, but then like 6 months later, I still haven't used it, and it's just like, oh, um, I have this gift card. Do you go to this company? Would you give me the face value of this gift card for this gift card? Cool. And then I will take the money and invest that money into paying off a credit card somewhere, or another bill. There's so many bills. So yeah, I don't do it. I don't do buying groups. I don't do buying gift cards. I know it's a strategy that can work for people. I'm not here to condemn or condone. Whatever works for you for getting your points, do you. Spaceco Chad, it's like how a good chunk of people lose money investing. Buy low, sell high is simple in concept, a bit more complicated in practice. Yeah, I understand maximizing your cent per point on getting the best cent per point for your flight. I get it for trying to maximize your return on in estimated value on a hotel. I don't get the whole like having to flex like, oh, this flight for me ended up being 8.5 cents per point. Like, awesome. And I'm sure if I got the same thing, I would be doing the exact same thing. If I got the same flight, I would be saying the exact same thing.
I would not, because I have never worked out cent per point math in my entire life, and I will never, unless we start doing like punishments on the podcast the way they do on certain sports podcasts that I think Matt and I both enjoy. I don't think I will ever willingly do cent per point math.
Yeah, we'll move on then. Keith, hit the like button. Yes, we'd greatly appreciate it, especially to keep the live going. I see 26 people watching live. Thanks for watching, for sticking around, y'all. So we'll move on. Mike from LA, congrats on the first of many lives, guys. Yep. I'm going to look to make this a weekly thing. Keith, if Citi had the Hilton co-branded cards and was a transfer partner, then they'd probably think differently. Then you'd probably think differently about Citi. That's probably fair.
Maybe so. I think this was directed at me for my Citi slander, the way that Matt has his Chase. I think because Amex has them, I don't need the Citi version, right? Like it's like Marriott has both Chase and Hilton. I'm sorry, Chase and Amex cards. So like if you're heavily in Chase, probably getting those makes more sense. If you're heavily in Amex, getting those makes more sense. So kind of, sort of, but I'm also in Choice, kind of, sort of right now, and I don't care about Citi, and they're 2-1. So I am an odd duck. Sometimes if my brain decides not to care about a thing, I'm really great at ignoring it. I got that from my grandmother. My grandmother could sit next to you at a school function and you did not exist. And I inherited that feature like, whoa.
There you go. I got into credit cards later than when Citi had Hilton. So I don't remember what the transfer rate was. I know that with American Express, it's 1-2 to Hilton. If it was 1-2 with Citi, great. And I don't remember how I know that Citi had the Hilton co-brands. I just don't remember how they earned with Citi as opposed to how they earn now as co-brands with American Express. But if they were about the same, yeah, it would have been a pretty good ecosystem. Losing Hilton really hurt Citi. Yeah, they didn't have like a premier hotel. Like Choice was their best hotel brand for a while. Now they've got probably I Prefer or Luxury Hotels of the World is their like highest end, and Accor Live Limited is also a pretty high end brand for them, but nobody really thinks to go book at Accor.
I just looked up the Citi Hilton Honors Visa Signature card. Which I'm seeing is probably their lowest card. It was 6 Hilton points per dollar at any of the Hilton portfolio, 3 on supermarkets, drugstores, gas stations, and 2 points on everything else. So the current Amex Hilton Honors beats that. So unless they did a refresh, like unless they upped the game, they would have been worse earnings compared to
what they have
compared to Amex. The ones I'm finding are just the Hilton Honors Visa. So
But we do
Not
also have
as
to take
good.
yeah, though we should also take into account that City had this account or had Hilton
Right.
9 years ago now. Things are a little bit pricier in terms of point redemptions now. There have been Hilton devaluations since then, so maybe
Yes.
it's about the same for the no annual fee version, but apple to apple right now, yeah, now you're getting more Hilton points for your money. Spathco, I'm still a bit lost. This points are more tangible target than securities, as inflation is the only variable you're working with in the vein of devaluations. Yep. Do Hilton FNCs ever have blackout dates? I've seen instances of entire weekends where Hilton rooms can't be booked with points, likely because the points block is full. Same happened with FNCs. I haven't noticed it. I know that the FNCs are typically for standard rooms, but if you have gold or diamond status with Hilton, like you can book your FNC for a standard room. If a higher room is available and your status allows you to get into that higher level room, that FNC can become a higher, like a suite. It can become a suite. Blackout dates, I haven't noticed. I've only ever redeemed one FNC, but I'm not aware of any issues with the FNCs aside from it being a standard room. Like it just has to start as a standard room.
Which is fine, guys. It's fine. I promise.
Chad, I keep seeing people bash their heads into walls for reasons I can't fathom. Yeah, everybody's trying to get the highest CPP Semper point, and it's, I don't know. Make the redemptions that make you happy. Honestly, take the trip, and if you get a really awesome Semper point because you've been doing this for a while and you know how to like really garner the best, like really get the best juice out of your squeeze, more power to you. Bill Wright. Hey, Bill. Currently, the Explorer has TSA pre-check credit, and the United Business does not. Instead, has the 7 purchase for the $100. So that 7 purchase is going to go down to 5. I know that from the leak that came out. I do not remember if they're also getting TSA pre. So
there are so many cards with TSA pre-check now.
I know that the United Explorer has it, the IHG Business Card has it, the IHG Premier Card has it, the Chase Sapphire Reserve has it. I believe the Aeroplan card from Chase also has it. The American Express Platinum, the green does not come with TSA pre-check. The green comes with clear.
I think it probably will for their refresh, though. That's a guess that I have, because they got rid of the Lounge Buddy credit.
The Venture comes with TSA pre-check global entry. The Venture X comes with TSA pre-check global entry. The stupid JetBlue Premier comes with TSA pre-check global entry. The Emirates flagship card comes with TSA pre-check global entry. I believe Cardless's Qatar card comes with TSA pre-check global entry. There's a lot of cards that come with TSA pre-check and global entry. You can sneeze and find one.
Basically.
M2K, I'm transitioning to Hilton as my main and Hyatt as my secondary. Hyatt has fantastic all-inclusives, and I generally like Hyatt places. SLH properties look like a fantastic value. Yeah, especially with the fact that like all of your status will also be recognized as at an SLH with Hilton, whereas with Hyatt it was a weird dynamic, and that dynamic's only gotten worse with Mr. and Mrs. Smith from Hyatt. Like that, the whole Mr. and Mrs. Smith thing has just been catastrophic for Hyatt, I would say, especially after they lost SLH and how quickly SLH turned around and got Hilton as a partner, and all of the extra value that they got out of Hilton, like Hilton got from SLH.
Yeah.
So, Spathco, general trap with CPP is the focus on redemptions while losing sight of the cost of acquisition. That's fair. A lot of this goes into Spathco's masterclass in CPP hell. Example, 10K of groceries on the AAA card would give you $500. 10K of spend on a city premiere would give you 30,000 points. Your cost for those 30,000 points is $500. Opportunity cost plus $95. So $595 divided by 30K. So it's like buying thank you points at 2 cents each. You can buy points in almost all of City's transfer partners for less than 2 cents each. Okay. Mike from LA, does holding the United business card today mean that you'll be grandfathered in at the $99 annual fee going forward, or will it likely eventually be increased with the anticipated 150 version when the anticipated 150 version comes out? Typically, new applicants will have the new will have the new annual fee applied when the 150 version comes out. So they're going to spend 150 going forward. If you apply for the card this week and it's 99 this week, you will be 99 until next year, and then it will be 150 for the second year. If you spent 99 in December, you're going to, when you do your next annual fee, you're going to pay 150, I believe. Now, I know that American Express does things where like they'll set a date in the future where if your annual fee doesn't come up until this date, you don't have to worry about it. And then they'll just kind of forget about that date for some of their longer term, higher value folks, because like when they raised the annual fee on the Hilton business card to like $195, it went past the date that it was going to be $195, and Sledge was able to get it another year at $95. They just didn't update it for them.
Okay, but Sledge has no bearing
rules
on
do
any
not apply to
rules.
Yeah, rules do not apply to Sledge. So Chase may state a date, where the $99 until X date, the $99 will be grandfathered. I would just assume that if you get a United business card right now with a $99 annual fee, this time next year it will be $150. So if you got it last month, you don't have to worry about the $150 until next year.
Exactly.
So let's keep going. Space Code, new card welcome bonuses are the ultimate solution if you want to answer to am I getting a good deal with this redemption? To always be yes. Yep. How deep of a CPP question would I have to ask for RJ to throw a Funko at me all the way in Florida?
So I will be in Florida in less than a month. Well, just about a month. So my ability to throw it will be much easier at that point. So you can try between now and then. I might put a colorful GIF as my response, though.
Bethco laughs at it. M2K, I use CPP just see if something is a decent redemption. If it meets my needs, I book the hotel flight. Yeah, that's all you need to do. Not everything needs to be, 8 cents per point. Yeah. Now, if you can get everything to be 8 cents per point, awesome. I would love to learn your judo. Sean D. Hey, Sean. Hello, Matt, RJ, and fellow credit card points and miles peeps. Hope you're all doing well. Yeah, I'm doing real good right now. I'm out of Angel's Envy. So it's a good evening. Last call for questions. Spathco, thanks for the live this evening. Thank you for joining Spathco. Jason, hopefully Matt and RJ enjoyed it enough to do it again. Yeah. I think we can do this again next week.
And in the grand tradition of Stack Your Points, when we said it'll be a half an hour to an hour max, we're now at 103. So Stack Your Points has never once been on time for when we do this. We envisioned the show long ago as like 45 minutes to an hour at the absolute max. And I don't think we've had a single episode in that time range. I don't even think our first episode was in that time range.
No, I think our first episode was like 225.
Yeah. Any night that we're recording, this is a little inside baseball for you all since we've already gone over time. Any night where I'm looking at the time, Matt is obviously hosting the show, as you all hear. I am doing sort of the background stuff of, timing and getting everything. And Lonnie and Tariq are being their wonderful selves. And any night in my head, I think to myself, "Oh, we're doing great. We're through the thing. There's no issues. There's not a lot of editing that's got to be done." Suddenly, the time slows down, and now we're suddenly at an hour and 45 minutes for the Q&A and haven't gotten to topic chat every time this is what happens. So the show will never be short. All four of us like to talk. Anytime we're doing well on time, somebody has decided that they're going to rant, which is great. Y'all love it. Half of the time we laugh on the live, and I have to edit around just the ear-splitting laughter that has come out, usually from Tariq, because his mic likes to pick up laughing. But yeah, no. So we're never going to be on time, guys. I'm sorry.
I'm not. No, it's fun doing the recording. It's fun doing we're 5 minutes over on the live. Who cares? Like, I can keep going. I'll just switch to my live. I don't care. No, it's fun to do the recording. I also like lives, so we're good there. Mike from LA, thanks for taking my questions, dropping that knowledge. You guys rock. Thank you, Mike. Vincent, thank you, Vincent. Jason, join the Discord, like and subscribe. Argue with nerds about points and miles in the Discords. Yes.
That might be we might have to put that on the shirt. Like that is great.
The nerdiest points and miles show in all of YouTube. Yeah. Angel's Envy, solid choice, Matt. Yes, it is. I enjoy Angel's Envy.
Just never put Angel's Envy in a styrofoam cup. It'll eat through the bottom.
Why would you ever put alcohol in a styrofoam cup?
So I was at a James Taylor concert. He does a yearly concert at Tanglewood. I was at a James Taylor concert, and somebody next to us, because it's a giant picnic, right? Like everybody is on like blankets and camp chairs and whatever. And the guy next to us had a brand new bottle of Angel's Envy and styrofoam cups. So we poured a bunch for a bunch of people around. Like people share food. Some people bring their dining room table. Like it's a wild time. James Taylor wild time. So he handed us Angel's Envy in a styrofoam cup, and I drank most of it, and I had it sitting on my leg as we were chatting, and all of a sudden I picked the cup up and the bottom fell out because the Angel's Envy had eaten through the bottom.
I got nothing there. Angel's Envy is really nice. This Tullamore Dew Honey is also really nice. Would definitely recommend. This was a Christmas gift from my sister.
I think we have one actual final question left from Bill. Yep. So
Bill says he's over 524 and in Amex pop-up gel, have 9 hard pulls and a 850. I'm going to go with he has an 850 FICO score, because if he has 850 RICO, I'm curious how many states attorneys general are after him.
Yes.
So where should I find a card if I can't get Chase or Amex? So Bill, first questions are going to be, where do you like to park your points after you've accumulated them? Where do your points go? Next thing is going to be sorry, I just looked at Jason's question and lost it for a second. Bill, so next thing is going to be where your points go, and are you okay with looking at other alternatives for those points? So like, case in point, right? I like to fly JetBlue. If I was over 524 and in Amex pop-up gel, don't transfer your Amex points to JetBlue. Don't do that. That's stupid. But if you are in pop-up gel and you're over 524, like if your inquiries weren't super hard and you're not over 624, like you're at 5 but you're not at 6, you could look at, and your TransUnion inquiries aren't super hard, you can look at JetBlue, the JetBlue business card from Barclays, right? You can go that route. Now, I don't know if you are a Hilton person. I don't know if you are a Marriott person, which Marriott in this case wouldn't work. I don't know if you are okay with Choice or IHG doesn't work. Choice, or I prefer. I don't know how many cards you're looking at over 524 at the moment. So where do your points go? And if your points go somewhere where you have like Barclays as an option, Barclays has like the 624 rule, but maybe you can get around it. Yeah, it's a little bit of a hard question.
Unfreeze your credit reports, do pre-checks, and like if you want the Ventrex, do a pre-check with Capital One. It'll tell you if you can get it or not. Like
Yeah.
Wells Fargo has a pre-check, Citi's got a pre-check. Unfreeze your credit reports, because if they're frozen, even with pre-check, it won't work, or at least won't work consistently. Do that. See what your options are. If you can do a pre-check and at least give it an idea of, okay, Wells Fargo also says no, Citi says yes, these are the options there. You know, find that information out, right? Because anytime you have information, like if oh God, I can't think. Capital One will only give you the saver for good credit. That's not really going to work for you, right? So you have that option now. At least you have the data on what they're saying they will or will not give you. So that would be my recommendation too, is sort of hit up the ones that have those pre-check tools. It's not 100%, but it allows you to get an idea of what might be on the board.
Yeah. And if just prioritizing 5% is absolutely the only thing you need to do right now, you could sidestep everything and ask for a PayPal debit card.
You can also do
Debit
that.
cards not going to do a poll on any of the credit bureaus. You're going to get 5% on the category of your choice up to $1,000. I don't like necessarily the PayPal debit card, but like I'm not going to tell you not to explore it as an option if it's something that could work for you. They've got like nail salons and spas as an option, clothing as an option, dining as an option, grocery stores as an option. I don't remember the rest of the options off the top of my head.
Also, one thing I'm going to say that this community does not say enough is, why do you want another card? If it's just for sign-up bonuses, like, and Spaithco, hold on to something, because I'm gonna talk about buying points for a second. If the only reason you want another card and you can't get one right now is for a sign-up bonus, wait until there's 100% bonus on buying points and just buy points. Like, if you can't easily get a credit card right now and the only reason you want one at all is for points, then whatever hotel chain you're staying at, go that way. Don't try to force a credit card that isn't what you want just because you want a sign-up bonus. So yes, I know, Jason. It shocks me too. But again, what I do and what I suggest for other people is not always simpatico.
So we're late enough in the live. Like this is my background typically. I use the FaceTime on my Mac with my Logitech Brio, and I pick a background and I turn on the background, and this is the background that it picks. It is, I think, supposed to be the interior of the Apple campus with like light shining through. I don't know why it looks like this wall. I don't know why it looks like something that would occur with this person's crazy ideas. But yeah, it's just the background that kind of like works the best. And like for about a month and a half, whatever was behind me was the most important thing on all of my videos that I posted. It was weird. But I like this one. It's better than blurring my background. Mike, also recommend High West Double Rye if you ever get a chance to try it. I'm not a big rye guy, but I can definitely look into High West Double. Not sure which one you wanted, Jason, on that one. I think
Probably
just
me talking about buying points, I think, made Jason just verklempt.
Spaithco, what's your favorite Holiday Inn, and why is the Newark Airport property next to Northern State Prison? Well, Spaithco, on the portion of Newark Airport property next to Northern State Prison, have you seen Jersey?
Look, Matt and I are both New Yorkers. I think we're born with an intrinsic dislike of New Jersey. Like, you come out and it's just like, you're a New Yorker, you don't like Jersey. Like, even upstate, It is what it is.
It's not even
I
a
won't fly through
dislike. It
Newark.
is just a severe superiority complex.
Yes. Yeah, I won't fly through Newark. I also don't fly United, so very rarely have I ever seen a Newark layover for anything. I go through LaGuardia, which has a gorgeous Sky Club. So, yay! I'll be doing that in about a month.
As for my favorite Holiday Inn, I don't know. Holiday Inn is just like my old reliable. I can just grab it whenever I need to grab it, sort of brand. La Quinta is a close second. Like if I can't find a Holiday Inn where I'm looking to go, if I'm road tripping and I've been driving and I'm at like hour 8 of driving and I just need to stay somewhere, I will look for a Holiday Inn first.
Wait, you don't like plan out your hotel stops on your road trips?
Some I will try to, most no. I was hired for a position on a sort of campaign in Colorado in 2023. They offered me the job on a Friday. They said, "Can you get here by Sunday?" So I packed up everything I would need for however long, packed up and left Saturday morning. I drove as far as Davenport, Iowa that day. I left from the lower Hudson Valley in New York, drove across New York, northern New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and stopped in Davenport, Iowa. When I was in Toledo, I was at a rest area grabbing whatever fast food you could grab at that Toledo rest area. I think it was Burger King. I don't even remember. And I was just like scrolling on my phone. Okay, Priceline, name my price. Davenport, I think I can get to by the end of the night. It just pulled up a La Quinta. I was like, that's awesome. I'll take it.
Okay, Matt, I love when I ask you a question. You're like, what is the most extreme possible example that I can give at any one time? I do truly love that about you. That was my buying points comment. I think Jason is just
That's the whole crap.
utterly perplexed that I would suggest such a look. Again, my brain has certain ideas of what it will and will not allow me to do, and that has no bearing on what I would suggest for other people that may or may not make more sense.
Yeah. Jason wants you to start talking more about buying points.
No.
We can try. It's better than the basement ceiling, to be honest. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Like, no, everybody stopped talking about my background when I found this. So,
you look like you're in a bamboo shoot.
Yeah, I can roll with that. It's better than looking like I'm stuck somewhere in the celestial, like, whatever, when I was first recording the podcast. I still like that, but that's fair. Jason, I asked the background question to distract you and succeeded. Mission accomplished. Yep. Nope. I saw that and just went. Filmo says, I consider my 20-minute commute a road trip. I have to drive about 45 minutes to my office when I have to go into my office, and now I consider that a road trip now. What work from home has done to you?
I've had one day in the office in the last 5 years because I had to fix my computer, so I had to go into the office. I work from home otherwise, and my commute in the morning is down to the coffee pot and back up to my office because my office and my room are next to each other. So I consider going to the mailbox a commute at this point because it's a longer walk to get to the mailbox than it is to get to my coffee and back up to my office.
Yep. I don't even go upstairs half the time. I just stop at my little mini fridge and grab a Monster if I remember to buy a Monster the night before.
One day you're just going to keel over on the podcast if you keep drinking
that. Nah, that'll be fine.
Or you're pickling yourself, either way.
As long as it's not pickled cucumber.
Aw, Jason, that is incredibly sweet. Thank you.
As much grief as I give you guys about buying points and cash back, I love the show and community you've built. Thanks for giving a bunch of dorks a place to talk and share ideas. Have a great night. Have a great night, Jason. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, I think for a first live, we've had a pretty good one. Yeah, if there's any last questions, we can try to answer them. But we're at 119. Hour and a half is cool. So there we go. Keith's commute is down the hall because I work at home most of the time. I still end up driving around 25,000 miles a year. Yeah, but Keith, you get to do it not creating any carbon, which is awesome. Oh, and I know what kind of cars Keith drives, and like I wish I had one.
I'm just waiting to see a car in the lower part of New York with just an upside down built flag behind it as it goes down to match the icon. And just imagine just a very long built flag that is upside down.
Oh God, so much that would be so much better and so much more entertaining than some of the other flags that I see driving in the Hudson Valley. Yeah. So Keith, if you wanna get a built flag made and like flip it upside down in your car, I would immediately know it was you. Also, my brother was talking about like buying a new about like reserving the new electric Scout pickup truck. And I was just like, why wouldn't I just get an F-150 Lightning? Because I wish I had $100,000. Dugras from Dugras Reports. Dorks, assemble. Yes.
Yes.
I'm here for it. Thanks, Dugras, for checking in. Greatly appreciated. Jason, with a bumper sticker that says I live in the dumbest timeline. That would be on brand. I look forward to finding that car in my travels. Mike from LA. So is this the regular day and time for your lives now? We're gonna try.
That is the plan.
Thursdays around 8:30 because work commitments and stuff like that, and I will try to throw out a tidbits video beforehand if I can, if there's stuff worth reporting on, or I'll just rant about built for like 15 minutes.
Because here on the live, I can goad you as you're ranting, Matt, so we can turn into a super rant. We'll figure out a topic that both of us can rant on at the same time and really give people a rant tornado.
I mean, the fact that Built doesn't believe in customer service or corporate communications is just...
You know that if somebody audited their books, there are shenanigans, I am sure.
I don't want to think that. That's the sad part.
Dugras, if you rent through Delta, you can sometimes get MQDs. That's a tidbit.
Yeah. United will also do the same. If you go through JetBlue, TrueBlue's vacations, you can do car rentals through them. They're also going to give you tiles for every X amount of dollars. I don't remember. Rental cars, World of Points and Miles is good to know. You can use your Chase points to get them at least $1.50 per point, and that will generate points for your rental car company, the rental car company of choice, because pretty much everything through the Chase portal is a cash purchase through the company in which you're purchasing from. So like when Lonnie redeems for $1.50 per dollar, for $1.50 per point, that is actually 1.5 cents that Chase is paying United when he does a United flight redemption in the travel portal. Same thing would be like if you did point redemptions with the edit, that is technically a cash booking for that hotel. So you're going to earn points with those providers, and the same should hold true for rental cars. And if you do rental cars, you can change the rental car. Like if you have an account with like say Enterprise, right? You can use your Enterprise points to redeem instead for Hilton points. So you can turn your Chase points into Hilton points by way of Enterprise redemptions through the Chase travel portal.
Yes. And Dugras, the one I just did, the only reason I know Delta can do it is because I just did it. It was cheaper to go through the Delta portal for Enterprise than to go to Enterprise directly, which is why I did it.
Yeah. You're not going to have your if you have status with the rental car company, it's not going to be recognized through the portal or whatever, but
rental car status is not on the highest priority of my list.
Yeah, I didn't like losing Enterprise Platinum, but like whatever. If I really wanted to, I could go earn it again. NFC North quarterbacks discuss. Jordan Love will probably be fine next year.
He'll be fine.
Do you really want to believe in JJ McCarthy if there's no offensive line in Minnesota?
I love that they're staying with JJ McCarthy. I think it's the best option for them. I am so glad to play them twice a year. I can't wait to play the Bears.
I am sure that there are ayahuasca-induced options should they choose not to go with JJ McCarthy for whatever reason, or if JJ McCarthy happens to be injured again. Caleb Williams, he's all right. I just don't know what other weapons he'll have around him this year. They don't have a strong running game, Chicago. And who the hell else is in the NFC North?
Oh,
the Lions. Jeez.
Yeah.
How did I forget Detroit?
I don't know, man. Probably the team that won last year.
I am not a football. I gave up on football in the Ray Rice offseason. The fact that I can remember that Jordan Love is the quarterback for the Packers. The Packers are not owned by a single individual, but like it shares, public shares, and that JJ McCarthy is the supposed starter for the Minnesota Vikings. The fact that I know all of that stuff is mostly fueled by Tom Grossi. Matthew Stafford, he should be fine.
Yeah.
It's not Matthew Stafford. It's Jared Goff.
Not. I was seeing how long before you caught that one. I will say this. Look, I am a Packers fan. I am a devout Packers fan. I have never been happier that I do not have to defend Aaron Rodgers than I am now, because the man has lost his goddamn mind. Look, the last quarterback that I think was a good human being is probably Bert Starr. Excuse me. It's been a long day.
We're going back to Bart Starr. Jeez.
In terms of like personality, like
Packers,
Jordan, I'm talking about past, right? So Jordan Love is not included in this because he is current.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre. Yeah, I'm going back to Starr because literally the Packers have only had, like, yes, there was the one season but the Packers have only had really two quarterbacks from Starr to Love. So, like, you have to go back to him because we haven't had much turnover there. And I can't wait to see Jordan Love in 12 years on the Jets.
As a former Jets fan, I have to love the fact that we just signed a running back to be our quarterback.
You know, you're gonna get it. Tariq and I are gonna talk more football this year, so you're gonna have to get into football again. Now I'm gonna kick you dragging and screaming back.
All I know from football is what I see from Tom Grossi and Benchwarmer Brand. Those are the only sources I use for what's going on. So the NFC North quarterbacks, like, I know who they are, but
Jordan Love, everybody else. That's all you need to know.
Look, here's what I'll say, Jason. I picked the worst possible sports life to live, and giving up the Jets and Nets still didn't help my stress levels or my, like, how is this team going to hurt me? I wear this hat right now. This team just signed a player for 15 years and $750 million, and I can't wait to find out how they're going to actively hurt me this season.
Hey, I'm a Red Sox fan, and right now we're in a special timeline.
Y'all got Garrett Crochet. You're going to be fine.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't believe the Red Sox will ever win a game until they win a game. Until the final score is called, I do not believe the game will be won. I remember 2004, but I also remember 2003. So, like, I am a deeply scarred Red Sox fan.
Yeah, but you had Aaron fucking Boone replaced by the nonsense that Johnny Damon got away with.
Oh man, the lovable idiots were a fun timeline.
Again, I am fans of teams that have not won a World Series since 1986, 2 years prior to when I was born.
Against my
And
Red Sox, by the way.
field the ground ball, nothing happens. Um,
Okay,
so I'm
hold on. No. That did not end the series. There was another game, and the Red Sox put their heads up their asses and should have won that game. 2 years before I was born too, but still I've seen that. Like, when you become a Red Sox fan, they sit you down in front of a TV and force you to watch that game over and over until your blood boils.
Look, in the year of my birth, we had Mike Scioscia and Kirk Gibson end our chances at a second championship. So, like all I have known with being a fan of the team on my head right now is the 2000 near sweep from the Yankees, which was awful. The 90s, which were awful. The early 2000s, which were awful. 2006, which was ripped from us by the St. Louis Cardinals, the worst possible team to ever win a World Series ever. Damn you, Yadi Molina, and damn you, Aaron Hellman, for throwing that changeup, and damn you, Adam Wainwright, for that beautiful curveball. Yeah. Since then, 2015, where I am certain that the Royals, it was advanced scouting. No, it was not advanced scouting. And since 2015, we've had nothing. We got to an LCS once. Whoop-de-doo. And I'm an Islanders fan, and the Islanders haven't won a what do you call it? Haven't won a Stanley Cup since well before I was born. Since well before I was born in '84. It was their 5th consecutive trip, so like things were cool, and they kept going to the playoffs. But
so what? They're the Buffalo Bills?
No, because they won 4 in a row.
Oh, okay.
They lost the 5th.
Oh, okay. I thought the way you said it, I thought they had lost 5 in a row.
No. The Islanders dynasty ran from like the 79-80 season to the 82-83 season. They beat Edmonton in that last Stanley Cup. They went right back to the Stanley Cup the year after and faced Edmonton again, and that's when Edmonton went on their little run with Gretzky. And then it didn't last. Introducing a topic. Yeah, we covered those rental cars pretty quickly. Sorry, Dugas.
For our weekly live. He's saying that he's put it in his calendar. Which we appreciate.
We appreciate that. Any of those airline car rentals competitive? We
talked about this already. We talked about this before the football, Matt.
Yep. They're good for racking up loyalty points. Subscribe. Remember to hit the bell. Thank you, Keith. Filmo, I last rented a car in 1998. I think I drove it to Blockbuster to return a game for my Nintendo 64. If it wasn't Smash, Filmo, I don't know if we can still be friends. That is hilarious. Matt, New Lightning with tax credit at Lariant is 72 sticker, but you can do better. I have one in Digest waiting for improved battery capacity. If you want to take it for any trips, me them one time a year. Take it on any trips. Jeffrey, if you're in the New York State area, let me know. Join the Discord. Going back to NFC North quarterbacks, I guess Don Majkowski was a good dude. He says, wasn't Steve Young a Packers quarterback? He's not crazy. I don't remember. I'm sure if it was like, it would have been like a 1 year at the end of his career. Okay. So easy to derail the two of you? Yes. ADD is fun. You don't know the trauma that I've lived through as a Mets fan. Keith, I don't know, man. There's the mid to late 90s. There's the 2000 World Series. There's the 2007, 2008 back-to-back collapses where we went to the last weekend of the season in first place in the division and then lost the series, like lost a 3-game series to then lose the division to the fucking Phillies of all teams 2 years in a row. Well, no. We lost it to the Phillies 1 year. And then that year the Phillies went to the World Series and they beat the Rays. Yeah, then there's the 2015 World Series. There's like the 2016. We went to the 1-game playoff, and oh God, was it Matt Cain or somebody on the Giants just had a game to remember? There was that stupid wild card series recently against the San Diego Padres, where I'm still not convinced that Joe Musgrave wasn't cheating that day. Jason Smith, I'll raise you as a Cubs fan. Yeah, but you've seen a championship in your lifetime, man. 2016 brought on the apocalypse, so was that World Series even worth it?
It was
You know
not.
what? Fair.
You opened the hell mouth. It was not.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. But if you're also a Chicago Blackhawks or Bulls fan, you still had like the years of Jordan with the Bulls, and the Blackhawks did win like 3 championships in 6 years, even though that whole mini dynasty was marred by the things that happened afterwards. I'm sorry, Kyle Beach. I'm sorry for the things that happened to you. I may have been at some of those games you mentioned. Yeah, no, those were traumatic. Game 7 of the 2006 NLCS is burned in my skull. Game 162 of the 2007 series is horrifying. Game 162 of the 2008 season is horrifying.
I think, Jason, what Matt is talking about with the other teams, the Blackhawks and the Bulls, is it's the same city, and there are not like multiple basketball teams in Chicago or multiple hockey teams in Chicago. So it's like the city's success versus like, you know, if you're a Rangers fan, the Islanders winning is not quite the same thing.
Yeah, and you know, what have the White Sox done since 2005?
Also, as a Red Sox fan, I hope the Yankees never win another baseball game as long as I live. But you know,
they're gonna have a rough time of it with Garrett Cole needing Tommy John surgery again.
I never want their players to be injured because I don't want athletes to be injured just because they're on a team I don't like. But if they all got foot fungus and like jock itch for the rest of their life, I wouldn't be mad.
Fair.
But I think that about wraps us up. Our 45-minute idea of a live turned into an hour and 37 minutes, which is very, very on brand for us.
All right, y'all. We appreciate you all sticking around for an hour and a half with us on this Thursday night. We look forward to seeing you again next Thursday around the same time. Again, Discord will be in the description. We'll go in and edit the description when we can. Are we going to end this on Jock Itch? I think we can end on the strong possibility that the City Rewards Plus card is going to be discontinued any day now. How about that? We're going to bring it back to credit cards. Folks are reporting on Reddit that on the credit cards Reddit that you cannot product change to that card now, and there's a possibility that public applications will no longer be available for a card that's only strongest power was giving you a 10% redemption, like 10% back on redemptions up to 100,000 points. So I think that's where we'll end it and not Jock Itch. How about that?
Also, there is a stack your points survey for credit cards that if you want to take that, I would appreciate it. I'm formulating a couple of topics and questions for the show, and the more data I have, the better. And yes, Jason, City is the equivalent of Jock Itch.
Oh my god. Oh, that just made my night. Thank you, Jason. Yeah, so take the Stack Your Points survey. I'm sure that'll get posted. That'll get updated in the description for this video. RJ will edit the description. I just kind of threw it together with StreamYard here. Check out the Stack Your Points Discord. We have the Q&A hitting tomorrow with when we make sure merch, maybe. Check out the Stack Your Points Discord. We would greatly appreciate you joining. We will have the Q&A episode dropping tomorrow. Do we do ranty stuff in the Q&A?
Not a little bit. There's a couple of moments of WTF.
All right, that's fair. So check out the Q&A question episode tomorrow morning. If you have any questions, drop those into the Q&A. You can join the Stack Your Points Discord. We have a podcast questions section. Hit the like and subscribe buttons if you like what we do. We're going to look to make this a weekly thing. Maybe next week we get Tariq. We hope we do. We know where he's out on emergency assignment. And thank you so much for your time, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night, and we will see you later.
Bye, everybody.